Beginning today by bringing yourself to a comfortable, upright seated position. Checking that you are able to perhaps slightly tilt your pelvis forward towards the front of your sit bones. And rearrange the chest back a little, particularly if you tend to have a rounded upper back. Allowing the upper chest to open more freely and the head to position itself directly above, on top of your spine. And draw your awareness to your body, seated on the earth, to your breath and how you're breathing comfortably, allowing it to flow in this upright position. And then notice your mind. Where is your mind? And can you bring it here into this space? If you have a yoga mat that you're using, it symbolizes our practice, our place to be, where we can leave for a moment, a while, the outside world, other tasks that we have to do, and come to ourselves for a moment. So take this time, make it your own, and get the most out of it. Let us bring our hands together at our heart space into our Anjali Mudra, and we'll set an intention. To be here now, to enjoy whatever comes, whatever happens, to enjoy this time, and to let go of expectations. Simply bowing your head to seal your intentions. And then when you feel ready, drawing yourself gently off any high seats. If you're still comfortable on your seat, then you can stay there. And you might want to place the soles of your feet together, or you may be more comfortable with your legs crossed. If you have your bolster and you're kneeling around it, then obviously you can stay up on your bolster. So we're going to move the body gently, lightly, and if you are unable to touch the floor, then simply head your arm down or hold on to your leg. Begin with a gentle stretch to the side, placing one hand on the floor and extending the other arm up. It can either go out to the side or it can simply extend up. Issues with shoulders, of course, you can leave your arm down or support your head. So as you breathe in, you lengthen up through that side, feeling that sit bone down. And as you breathe out, you tip over to the left. And you take a breath in. And as you breathe out, come all the way back. Breathing in, lifting the other arm. As you breathe out, extending, lengthening through the side seam of your body. Taking a breath in, and when you're ready, on your breath out, coming all the way back. And repeating that one more time each side with your breath. We're going to modify it slightly, introducing a gentle rotation into the body. So as you breathe in, we'll lift the arm up. And as you breathe out, you'll tilt over to the side as you did before. Take your breath in once more, but this time you'll rotate slightly, looking down towards your knee or the floor on the left-hand side. On your next breath in, come back to that lovely lateral stretch at the side. And as you breathe out, go all the way back to the start. So when you're ready, breathing in, lifting the right arm. As you breathe out, Gently lengthen. Take your breath here. Tilt towards, looking down. When you're ready to breathe in, stretch back into that side seam and return as you breathe out. And continuing twice on each side. Make each breath, when you move, a deliberate movement. So maintaining that side length as you both breathe out and stay. Rotating, feeling that stretch change. Going back as you breathe in into that lovely side lateral stretch. And then using your exhale to come back. Observing the body when you've completed yours. And perhaps that way of practicing the second side time is a way of acknowledging that maybe we have a tendency sometimes to take ourselves into a slight rotation when we're in a side stretch. So we might side stretch, but automatically do that slight tilting forwards. So we're looking here to really notice the side as opposed to the slightly rotated side bend. Of course, you'll get into different parts of your body as you do the rotations. You might like to change your feet slightly now. You could bring them out to what I like to call the diamond shape, or the soles of the feet could be on the floor, whatever works best for you. And here we're going to gently move the spine. You can either have your hands beside you or on your knees, depending where your legs are. We're going to roll the pelvis back as we breathe out, sink gently down, rounding the back. And then leading with the chest, breathing in, lifting forwards towards the legs, rounding down, breathing out. Bring the chest up and forwards over the legs, breathing out, rolling back, lifting up and over towards the legs. Not worrying about where the head goes particularly, but being aware that you're not holding it in any particular way. 2 or 3 more, loosening, stretching gently. And then we're going to continue this movement, but we're going to change it and take it to the side. So we're going to roll back, breathing out, lift the chest and turn towards one leg, perhaps your left leg. Breathing in, roll back, lifting up and going to the opposite leg. Breathing out, rolling back, breathing in, lifting towards the opposite leg. Just finding a bit of a lateral stretch, perhaps stretching a little more through one side of your back than the other. Maybe a different sensation in your legs. And then one more time to each side. And then coming back and checking in. What do I notice? So you may be happy to take your legs a little wider now, either with the feet on the floor and the knees bent, or if your legs have a reasonable range and you don't suffer particularly with height hamstrings, you might stretch your legs out and have them wider. So either is fine. You have a pelvis that likes to rock backwards when you sit up on top, then I would suggest keeping those knees bent. And we have a sense of being more upright. And in the same way as we did before, we're bringing the body towards the legs. So we're finding the front of our sit bones a little bit. The head can sit on top. We find our breath and we stay, whether we're up from more upright or more leaning forwards. It's whatever works for you. Your arms may be down behind you on your legs or even bringing them forwards. And let time take a moment and see what happens. And if you find you have more range, keeping the legs where they are, you might move the torso a little more between the legs. If you're against the legs, then stay where you are and work there. Let the breath guide the movement. Be really present with your breath and with the sensations in your body. And those who have bent legs may find that after a while they could slide the heels away a little more. Remembering that it's not about getting anywhere, it's about exploring your body. And then when you're ready, walking your way back up. Come to sit tall, perhaps towards the front of those sit bones once again. And then you can draw those legs in and perhaps give them a little shake off. We're taking a little twist now. You might bring your feet back if that's comfortable, have the feet on the floor or cross-leg position. And taking the right hand on towards the outside of the left leg or wherever you can reach safely. Drawing your awareness to the bottom of the ribs. So the abdomen, it's almost as if the abdomen is drawing you back towards the opposite side. So the abdomen is staying, well, fixed, but it's as if you're turning slightly in the opposite direction. Then your bottom ribs can take you around towards where the arm has gone, to the left. Then the mid ribs could go around a little more to the left. And the shoulders and upper chest could go around to the left. And then the head and the face and the cheeks go around and the eyes. And you're staying upright, rotating as if your spine is a spiral staircase and each stair is twisting gently around the central column. So this happens in the thoracic spine where your ribs join on and the neck. Taking another beautiful breath here. Allowing that breath to flow away. And then breathing in, and as you breathe out, bring the head, the top, the middle, the bottom back to center. Acknowledging the sensations on that side, and then we're taking it around to the other side. So wherever you can take your hand and reach, thinking of taking the abdominals now to the left and the ribs to the right. So when you're ready to move the bottom ribs, they won't go quite so far. The mid ribs will go much further generally. The upper ribs could go further, and the head neck goes the farthest. Your hand behind can balance you if you need it, but avoid using it to lean back onto if you can. Find your breath. Notice how the breath is easier towards one side of the body than the other. Maybe there's a stretch on the side that you're twisting towards the front, the left side in my case. One more breath here. And then breathing in, and as you breathe out, bringing the head, the top, the middle, the bottom of the ribs back. And then if you feel like it, give yourself a little wriggle. We're going to come over onto our knees if knees is a comfortable place for you today. If it isn't, you might prefer to lie on your back for a moment, and you can use some gentle spinal movements lying on your back. So for those who are going to be on their back, I'll just demonstrate, and then those rest can get themselves ready on their knees. So lying on your back with your feet on the floor comfortably, arms alongside. Just protect your neck, use anything underneath your head that you require. And then for those working down, you can find the floor with your feet and begin to move the spine by rocking the pelvis perhaps, and then gradually working with your own body, lifting the spine, rolling up and down as it feels appropriate to you. So for those of you who are happy to be on your knees, use padding, blankets if you need to, and come onto all fours. Those lying on their backs, check in, find your balance, feel the length of your spine. So from crown of head to tail, whichever way up you are, Experience a lengthening and a feeling of balance through your spine. May not be completely balanced each side, but you can imagine it is. And then for those on their knees, when you're ready, you're going to breathe out and begin to move the pelvis back a little bit round the back and let the head drop. And then moving forwards as you begin to breathe in, before you lift your chest gently forward, slide the shoulders back and lift the tail. As you start to breathe out, move back a little first, round the back, tuck the tail, let the head hang. Move forward a little first, flossing the spine, moving gently to wake up your nervous system. And then gradually, if you wish to, you can increase the rounding of the lower back and stretching of the lower back by taking your heels a little closer to your ankles and heels. Breathing in, drawing the chest forward, gently looking forward, arching the back in the opposite direction, rounding the back and traveling back towards your heels if it feels nice stretch, good stretch for your lower back. Opening, coming forwards, and gradually, if you wish to, making your way to your heels into a child's pose and resting. If you're lying on your back, you could bring your knees onto your chest or stretch your legs away. Find your breath in the back of your body. If you need to support your head, you can make fists, as I have here. This is about me being able to talk into the mic, but for you, you might find it more comfortable for your neck. And also, if your pelvis doesn't easily reach your heels, then having your head higher helps the weight go back. Or perhaps you need to support your ankles with a rolled up blanket or between your heels and your pelvis. So send your breath into the back and sides of your body, predominantly here, using those back ribs, those back lungs. Lots of space in the back of the lungs. And after the next breath, come back up if you're happy to onto all fours. Those of you who are lying down on your back, you can work this one by lifting alternate hips gradually. So those of you who are up on all fours, we're going to turn our body lightly and look towards the left or right, doesn't really matter. So bring your hip towards your shoulder, shoulder towards your hip into a side bend. And take it to the middle and take it to the other side. So see if you can really pull the shoulder and the hip together into a side bend. Back to center and repeat each side once again. Side bend. And back to center. Side bend. Back to center. So we're holding our all fours position nice and steadily in the middle. And then we're taking our spine up without going backwards this time. Head down, tail down. And then taking ourselves into the cow pose, shoulders back, chest forward, tail up. Breathe out, round the body. One more time, lengthening the front, contracting the back. Then we're going to take those movements and move them into a circle. So if you can imagine your spine is a skipping rope, your neck is where one handle is, and your pelvis is where the other handle is. And in between, your spine is rolling around. So those four movements, sides, front, side, back. And take it slowly. It doesn't need to be big. We don't want lots of hip, shoulder movement. There may be some, but can we find the abdominals, engage them? Use them to lift the spine, use the chest muscles to move around. So the spine is flowing like a skipping rope around. And then change direction. Loosening, easing. This isn't necessarily very easy to do. So if your body is having a difficult time finding that movement, take it slow, take it really small. So perhaps starting with your tummy button going around and then moving into your midriff and then moving in each direction slightly further up the chest and down the abdomen. And then when you're ready, you can drop back to your child pose. If you're on your back, you can once more hug your knees in or stretch your legs out. Breathing to the back of your body once more. And when you're ready, drawing yourself forward. So if you're on your back, roll over onto your front. And if you're on your knees, come forward to lie on your front. And you might want to put your hands one on top of the other and rest your forehead down on your hands. Here we'll take a moment to settle the body. You may wish to wriggle and wiggle your pelvis. Possibly, if anybody has tighter lower back, move the legs a little further apart. And draw your awareness gradually to your breath, moving the face so that you're more of the top of your head resting on your hands, perhaps. Helping to gently tuck the chin and extend and lengthen through the back of your neck. And as you breathe here, feel that extension or pushing forward of the abdominals with the diaphragm. And it coming back as you breathe out. The stretching and lifting of the lower back as you breathe in, as the spine extends, as your breath flows in. And the letting go and the sinking down of your lower back as you breathe out. As the spine gently releases back. So when you breathe in, the spine gets a little longer. When you breathe out, it rests back. Bringing yourself up onto your forearms if that is comfortable for you. And for some people, coming up here and making sure your elbows are far enough forward. Mine are slightly forward here, but I could have them further back, and that would give me a little more lift. So placing those elbows in the right place is important. If you have very rounded upper back or a tendency towards that, then you may find having your elbows directly underneath is a problem, and you want to bring them further forward. And then you have the problem of what to do with your head. So I suggest elbows forward, bottom ribs on the ground, and supporting your head in your hands in a way that's comfortable for you. And then bringing your awareness between your shoulder blades and into your breastbone and letting that part of your spine, your thoracic spine, begin to move into its backward bend. For those who don't have that, you can come back up and be in your sphinx, on your elbows and maybe palms together, pressing in those forearms, little finger edge of the hands for stability. If you took your legs out, you could play with whether you bring them in a little bit here or not. And let your breath flow, breath flowing. Aware of any tensions that you have in the body. If it's all in your lower back, I seriously recommend you move your elbows further forward and take some bend out of the lower back. So we have more of a smooth line from top of the spine, between the ears, all the way down to the tail. Then we're going to rest the body down once more. Experiencing what we find. And with the head either on the hands as it was before, or if you're finding that a little uncomfortable in your neck, you can turn your head towards one leg. I'm going to turn my head towards the camera, but you can work the other side. So I'm turning it here just for you to demonstrate, and I'm going to lift the leg closest to the camera, and you can lift your right leg if you wish. Now imagine a point between your ribs, at the bottom of your ribs near your waist. I want you to think of that point and imagine a line from that point all the way down through the back of your leg to the big toe or the middle toe. Then when you're ready, you're going to breathe in here without moving
And as you breathe out, from that point at the back of your waist, you're going to extend down through your right leg and lift it off the floor as high as it will go without straining. Hold it up as you breathe in and lower the leg down as you breathe out. I'm going to repeat that another 4 times with the same side. So that's why you can have your head turned if you wish. Remember, you're moving as you breathe out. So you stay down, breathe in, extend and lift as you breathe out, hold up as you breathe in, and lower down as you breathe out. So you're doing that 5 times. Pausing when you've completed, experiencing your body, and coming back up onto your elbows. So whether you had your elbows forward or your elbows underneath you in the Sphinx, whichever works for you. And as you pause there in the middle, you may notice a difference between the two sides. To me, it feels as though this shoulder that's closest to the camera is higher. I almost want my hands to go further forward here. I feel as though there's more length on that side of the front of the body. So having extended and opened the front of the leg, we've lengthened the front side, we have more range. And then releasing back down, turning your head in the opposite direction if you wish, bringing your awareness to the other leg. So from the back of the waist to the big toe or middle toe, take a deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, extend and lift. Hold up as you breathe in and lower down slowly with your breath as you breathe out. And repeat that 4 more times, so 5 altogether. Find that strength in the back of that leg. You might want to contract your glutes, your buttock muscles. Hold it up as you breathe in. When you've completed your 5, rest and pause for a moment, assimilate. And then drawing yourself back up into your Sphinx or your forward Sphinx. You can have your elbows and rest your head in your hands again if you need to. Notice whether you now feel a little more balanced and there's a little more lift through the body in your Sphinx. Perhaps it's a little more comfortable now in your lower back. We're also repeating it, so it may be loosening things as well. So from there, coming down to rest once more. Rolling over onto your back. So carefully take your time, roll over onto your back. And then from there, you might like to bring your knees onto your chest and give yourself a hug. The hands could be on the knees, alternate on each knee, and you could do a little apanasana, breathing in, knees away, breathing out, pulling the knees in, always checking that the back of your head is resting appropriately, and if you need to, you're using a blanket or something underneath your head or cushion to keep the back of the neck long, comfortably, and your breath is free then to flow. If you'd like to keep your right leg on your body and place the left foot to the floor, you can hold around your shin or behind your knee.
drawing that leg deeply, comfortably in, feeling that closing through the front of the leg. For those who feel it's comfortable, they could slide that other leg away. And breathe. As you breathe out, you'll feel your abdominals drawing away. And you may be able to draw that leg a little closer in. Sliding the other leg up if it's not already there, place the foot on the floor. And if you're able to, take the outside of your ankle and place it across your left thigh so that the knee is able to gently drop out. Just moving my bolster out of my way. You might like to place your hands on your inner thigh, which is facing you, and press it away lightly. Be aware that we're avoiding hurting any of our joints. So you might get an increased stretch on the inside of the thigh, depending on your body. And then placing the sole of that foot on the front of the leg. Bring the knee in towards the midline then. We want to get a sense of the pelvis still staying down on the floor. You can bring your hand on the outside, the opposite hand, sorry, on the outside of that leg. And as you gently ease it towards your shoulder and send a message down to reach the floor, you might find a stretch on this outside of your thigh. So it's a bit of resistance work. You may have to explore your own body to find that. And for some, there may not be much sensation there. And then keeping that foot there if it's safe for you to do, or if you prefer, putting it back to the ankle resting. So you can play with that, those two. Take your arms out to the sides beside you. And you may like to put the palms down so you have some balance. We're doing some rotation now, so working safely with your own body. So I'm starting with my foot flat on the front of my opposite thigh. I'm going to invite my legs to move there. So take my both legs over to the right, so that I have a flanking way. Keeping both shoulders as flat on the floor as possible. Breathe in, bring them back to center. And as I breathe out, take them over to the other side. And as soon as you feel your shoulder wanting to come off, stop your legs moving. Breathe in, come back to the center. Breathe out, rolling the other way. And the head can move in the opposite direction if it feels nice and good in the neck. Inhaling back to center. Rolling again over to the other side. And if you bring it back to center, you might, if you haven't already, explore it with the ankle on. And you'll find that top of the thigh drops towards the floor. Breathing in, lifting it up. Breathing out, the sole of the foot heads towards the floor. Inhale to center. Exhaling over. I like to do that one more time in each side. And then in your own time, coming back up to center, releasing that right leg, sliding the legs away, and you can bring the arms back beside you. And obviously I would anticipate a sense of difference between the two sides, so they're not the same anymore. And also you may have noticed how you perhaps walked down the mat a bit as we did the rotations. That's something that happens. What you can do is, as you're aware of that, is really endeavor to keep your body controlled from the center to reduce the walking down the mat as you rotate. That takes some extra control. So when you feel ready, I'm going to bend both legs, feet on the floor, and bring the left leg in, hugging it to us, settling the pelvis, keeping it nice and straight. If you wish to, you can slide the right leg away. And we're drawing that leg, remembering you can either hold behind the thigh if it's more comfortable for your knee. Experience that closing at the top of the leg. If the leg going away, being straight, changes the sense of the movement or pulls you away from your body, then have that leg bent. Because it's the closing of this leg on the body that's the priority here. So taking the outside of that left ankle and resting it on the thigh, and maybe pressing away the inner thigh of that left leg. A little more opening through the top of the leg. We've closed it, now we're opening it. And we're breathing comfortably, rhythmically, using Ujjayi if you wish. And bringing the foot back on top of the front. And those who want to, place the hand on the outside of the opposite hand and drawing it away, sending a message to touch the floor down into the hip on that side. Finding that resistance. So you can choose now whether you leave that foot on the front, take the arms out to the side, not too high, be careful not to strain the shoulders. And because it's the left leg on the top, I'm going to the left first and breathing in. And as I breathe out, I'm taking both legs over to the left. And I might take my head to the right. Breathing in, I bring head and legs back to the center. And as I breathe out, I let the legs and the head go in the opposite direction. This is where you can use your strength in your center to lift your legs back up. And that will help to prevent you from moving down the mat so much. So remembering our priority here is to keep the shoulders flat. We only take the pelvis where we can go without the shoulders lifting off. So the rotation in the chest is created by the movement of the pelvis, and our steady place, our set point, fixed position is across the shoulders. When you've done that a few times, you might want to place the ankle onto it. Bring the top of the thigh to the floor as you rotate over. Inhale, lifting back to center. Exhaling, taking the foot towards the floor on the opposite side. See whether you can control that sense of wanting to move down your mat or being drawn down your mat as you rotate. When you've been about 3 times to each side, bring yourself back to the middle, release the legs and float away, settling. Observe the body, observe the breath, observe the mind. And when you feel ready, if you're able to, bringing your knees up and bending your legs. Now, if you bring your knees onto your chest and you have a problem trying to keep your knees on your chest, in other words, they want to pull away and your lower back wants to come off the floor, then I suggest you use a small cushion or a blanket or something folded and place it underneath your pelvis. That will help to keep your knees closer to you and prevent your lower back lifting off as you do this next one. If you don't need that, if your lower back will stay down and your knees will stay on your chest, then you can be like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our awareness to our heels. And if you think of your left heel at the moment, as you breathe out, sit bone goes down and heel goes up. But avoid taking your leg away from your body. And then you take your right heel away from your sit bone and stretch that leg up. So we're looking to straighten the leg, but only in the line of the hip. So we want to avoid taking that leg away there. That will strain through your lower back. And we're looking more to use our abdominals here to keep us in control. So working with your own ability, whether your legs straighten or not, is not relevant. It's whether you have a stretch. So taking your left leg up as you breathe in, push through the heel, breathe out, bring the knee back onto the chest. Right leg up, breathe in, knee to chest as you breathe out. Okay, one more time. Really think of that knee coming to the chest as you breathe out. That will help you to prevent the leg from going away. You can straighten and move away as you straighten it, but when it comes back, it needs to come in. And now joining it with the arms. Checking in, can I take my right arm up and over towards the back? If you can't reach the floor, it doesn't matter. Breathing out, bringing it back. Left arm, breathing in. When you're ready, bringing it back, breathing out. Now the arms have further to go. So when we join arms and legs together, the arm will go over as the leg goes up. When the arm comes back, the arm will get to point to the ceiling, and only when it's there do the legs start to come back. So that would look like this. Breathing in, stretching arm and leg. As you breathe out, arm starts first, breathing out. Continue to breathe out. Ready. Left arm, right leg. Breathing in. Arm first. Join in the leg when you're ready. Both come down together. Other side. So we're cross patterning. And you'll probably notice that the leg gets up sooner than the arm does overhead. So that's why we have to wait for the arm to come back. Stretch through the leg as the arm finishes its rise. Coordinate your movements. Check the back of the neck is long. You haven't let that chin start to lift. It's easy to do. One more time each side. Find that stretch. Pause in the middle if you wish to. And then both together. If it doesn't feel safe to do both together, you can continue alternating, or you can simply rest. It's your body, your breath, your practice. So if you're able to, 4 times, using the strength of your body, coordinating your breath and your movements. Press the back of the waist and engage those abdominals. And with the help of the abdominals, you can pull those knees in towards your chest as you bring your heels down. When you've completed, you can either hug the legs in or simply let everything go. They're quite a strong practice. For some, more strong perhaps. Coordinating breath and movement, it makes the mind have to stay with you. You have to use your mind, your breath and your body, integrating. when you feel ready, roll your knees gently up. You might like to roll over onto your side for a moment, just to let your head catch up because you have been on your back for a while. Particularly if you have low blood pressure, it's always good to take it in stages. And then when you feel ready, gently pressing your hands and peeling yourself up and bringing yourself up to sit. Checking in with your body, how you feel. You might like to bring the soles of the feet together as we started. Find those sit bones. Perhaps a little easier now. If you need to be on a little support, a folded blanket or a block, then please do so. If you prefer to have your feet on the floor, your knees bent. And gently allow the pelvis to tuck down, roll the body back. Lift the chest and softly come forwards over the legs, breathing out. Breathing in, rolling back, lifting the chest. And breathing out, softly floating forwards. Rolling back and breathing in, lifting the chest and floating forwards. We're going to repeat that now 3 times towards the left leg. As you breathe out, lean over to the left. Roll back to the middle, breathing in. Left side again. Three times to the left. And then into the middle and 3 times to the right. You may find that because of the way you are constructed, that one side is more accessible than the other. And then finally, after your 3 on each side, you can come to the middle if you're happy to. And rest. If you find it uncomfortable for your legs, move them out. Straighten them, have them bent. So any position that works for you. And as you use your breath, each breath out might take you just a little deeper. And closing, you might want to close the eyes and breathe into the sides and the back of the body. Find that gentle expansion as you breathe in and the softening and the releasing and maybe moving deeper as you breathe out. So working there for a few more breaths before you come up to sit. And then you might choose to use your cushions, blocks, bolsters to position yourself up, back again. Finding a comfortable upright seat. Checking in through your body. And obviously we started here and you may notice a difference in the way your body feels from where we started. Does it feel more upright? Does the pelvis, hips, back feel a little more stable and able to be there? Then we're going to work for a moment with some mudra, some hand gestures, directing the energies and the vitality into all the areas of the body. You're working with your body, your breath. We're going to begin by making a fist of our hands with the thumbs inside if you can. It's very simple, and hopefully my dark top will help you to see what my fingers are doing. All we're doing initially is extending our little finger extended and tips of the little fingers touching. So thumbs are inside, made a fist, full fist, thumbs in if you can, and little fingers touching. And you can rest that comfortably wherever is appropriate for your shoulders and arms. And once you have that, you may wish to close your eyes or drop your gaze. This is Kanishta Mudra, the gesture of the little finger. And its core quality is connection to the earth. We start by grounding down through the floor, feeling our connection with the earth. The living earth pulses within my body, infusing me with all of its essential qualities. The living earth pulses within my being, infusing me with all its essential qualities. Allow your breath to flow and feel that movement deep within you. And rolling the little finger in gently. If you need to, use your tips of the thumbs to hold them as you extend your ring finger. So your ring finger, fourth finger, tips touching. Anamika Mudra, the gesture of the ring finger, and its core quality is self-healing. Allow that mudra to begin to act. Notice where your energy is sent, your breath is sent, and its quality of self-healing. Attuned to the rhythms of my inner sea, I am nourished by waves of healing energy. Attuned to the rhythms of my inner sea, I am nourished by waves of healing energy. A few more wonderful deep breaths in Anamika Mudra, gesture of the ring finger. Before going back to your fists and extending your middle finger, tips of the middle fingers touching. Madhyama Mudra, gesture of the middle finger. Balanced energy. Where do you find this energy? Perhaps you're able to discern that your bottom ribs, midriff area is where the breath is most dominant. Samana Vayu. Cultivating balance in all of my activities, I experience greater energy and vitality. Cultivating balance in all of my activities, I experience greater energy and vitality. Another breath into the center, balancing energy. And then releasing the middle finger, extending the index finger and finding the tips of those to touch. Tajani mudra, gesture of the index finger or first finger. The quality of opening of the heart. Perhaps experiencing the breath now around that center, mid-chest area, around the heart space. Attuned to my heart's inner symphony, I live with joy and vitality. Attuned to my heart's inner symphony, I live with joy and vitality. Tapping into our Anandamaya kosha, the bliss level. And we find more joy in our life, more moments of peace, tranquility. And then releasing first finger, making a fist, except the thumbs this time. So the thumbs will come to touch and then the palms can face down, even resting your forearms on your legs if you wish. It's just the thumbs touching, all other fingers curled in. Angushta mudra is the gesture of the thumb and it's inner listening, taking our awareness upwards, throat, mind, head. So your breathing will be much shallower potentially here. Let it happen. Moving towards a state of more meditation, concentration. Through deeper listening and enhanced sensitivity, I receive the guidance of my inner being. Through deeper listening and enhanced sensitivity, I receive the guidance of my inner being. Release any tension in your neck, throat, shoulders, jaws. Then opening both palms gently, resting your left hand under and your right palm sitting in top of your left, palms facing upwards. Into Bhairava Mudra, a gesture of unity, bringing all aspects and dimensions of your being into one. Allowing you to breathe fully and deeply once more into all areas of the lungs. Finally, drawing the palms of the hands back into Anjali Mudra, the prayer position. You might like to set your intention for the rest of your day, whether it's evening, morning, lunchtime. What's your intention? Bowing your head to seal your intentions. Namaste.